Every time I'm in the street, I hear man down, where you from?
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy One Killer Scat back at it again with another video. Let's get it. Thank y'all for tuning in to Red Key TV. As y'all can see, I got those Nova Series quad headlights sitting on the charger. I have actually went ahead and plugged them up to verify that they are working. I haven't tested all the features inside of the Ghost controller, but once I get it broken apart where I can get to those wires, we'll get all of those features up and tested. This will be a whole installation video. I'm not going to go into how to take the front bumper off on video. There's 1,000 videos of that. So if you need to take the front bumper off, you're going to want to find a video that'll help you do that. This is strictly just a light install for these Nova Series headlights. I love them. They look amazing. I can't wait to get these on the car. So without further ado, let's get it. All right, guys. A lot of this stuff you can do it in any order. This is just the order that I am showing you and recommended in, but you can take a lot of these steps and you can move them and do them how you like. One of the first things that I would recommend is go ahead and remove those fuses from your controllers and then go ahead and hook up power and ground. I have, for me, I have a fuse box there that I can run all of my accessory lighting to. So if you didn't have that, you could just run it right here. You could run it right there. And the ground, as you can see, that ground terminal there. So power and ground. And I would always just remove the fuse from it. That way, if you mess up, you got time to check. But as long as you go power and ground, you should be absolutely fine. Now, remember, when you are hooking these up, if you're doing this with a Blue Ghost, which I highly recommend, the Blue Ghost controller for the headlights needs a regulator. The LEDs run off of 5 volts in there. If you hook it up straight to 12 volts, straight power, without this regulator, you're going to fry those lights. So make sure if you have a Blue Ghost and you're running it to the headlights, you have a regulator, because that Blue Ghost can run either way. It can do 5 volts or it can do straight 12. So I have another Blue Ghost, which is right down here. It is connected to 12 volts. So if I accidentally swapped those LEDs for my underglow, or right now they're on my grill lights, for my grill lights to those, it would blow those lights. So remember what you are installing and what you're connecting at all times, because you don't want to put the wrong amount of voltage with the same connection points to the wrong item. So I have this right here is the actual connection for the demon eyes. So we have power ran for it, for the demon eyes, and power ran for the regulator to the Blue Ghost. And then it has its different connectors right here. There's an extension wire on that one. So that's your first step of what you want to do as far as getting it hooked up. That way, when you are actually ready to test lights, which you could do in just a second before you even put it on the car, you can put the fuses in and you can test everything before you tear apart the bumper and all that type of stuff. So connect this up first, then go to your other steps. If you do everything else, take your front bumper off and all that type of stuff, you do this last, and then you find out that you got bad LEDs, you just wasted a bunch of time and you're gonna be pissed at yourself. So that's why I recommend doing this first. All right, so now what we got is I am sitting at the lights, and I want you to understand the things that you have here. So here you have the connections coming out of the light for the demon eyes. These demon eyes are the 5 pins, and they're the big ones. The actual strips for the headlights, for the DRLs, they are a 3-pin connector right here, and they're the small ones. So there are 2 of these, one for the top DRL and one for the bottom DRL. And then there are 4 of these, and these are for each one of the demon eyes. So the ones from the demon eyes, they connect to this LED driver here for my demon eyes. And then that goes into this splitter or this extension wire, which is going to go into a splitter that connects for the demon eyes at the car. So it's super simple. You have a 4-way splitter that's going to connect from here all the way down and split into 4 to plug into each one of the demon eyes. And then you basically have the same type of thing. It is another splitter right here for your DRLs. And then that will plug in with that extension wire, will plug into the Blue Ghost controller. And that will cut on all of the lights that you have. So the next thing I want to show you while you're looking at this is making sure that your lights are somewhat level. You can level it when it's in the car, from what I'm told. I just want to see how much clearance room it is to get your hand back there, because this is how you'd be looking at it from inside of the car, this little screw right here. But outside of the car, it's a Phillips head screwdriver, and you can level these out. And the reason why I noticed mine so drastically, I might insert a clip and then you might be able to pay attention, is this light was basically, the light was touching the black housing down here at the bottom. So I've picked this one up now to be almost even with that one. I just got to see what it is when I actually set up the lights. So if I had put them on the car the way they were, one headlight would have been facing the ground and the other one might have been level or might have been facing up. Now, either they're both going to be facing up or they're both going to be level, but I will check that and verify once I actually get it installed on the car and I can shine some light on something to see. But yeah, that was my next thing that I would do, is I would at least get the light somewhat level by turning that and adjusting it up. I know this right here on the car would be the passenger side, and I was adjusting it counterclockwise. So that screw I was turning counterclockwise, which is this way, and you know, clockwise, you should know counterclockwise and clockwise if you're watching this video. If you don't, you might want to take it to the shop, big dog. But that was the next thing that I would look at into doing. Remind you, while you're watching this video, this is how to install them. If you have the same build that I have, you can buy these lights the regular way, and it'll be a little bit different on the install, because I'm pretty for sure these wires get used on the regular install right here, but they're not being used on my install. At least I don't know why they would be used on my install. I haven't seen anything that tells me to hook it up for my current setup. So I'll check and see once I get ready to plug all this up, because I do have something that looks like it could go there, but not for sure, because everything should be fed through this for the car. And I've already used all the features with the Demon Eyes and the Blue Ghost. So just keep that in mind. All right. So after you've removed the bumper, go ahead and take out these little screws right there, those 4, and then unplug the back connection of your light and take it out. I almost forgot that I was shooting the video. There goes some of the wiring from the other one. I had already taken this light out. It's over there. It is, where is it at? There it is. I am using a 5/16 to take those screws out. Worked perfectly fine for me. So use what size it is for you. I'm pretty sure it's 5/16. May have a little bit of wiggle room on it. It worked taking them out. We'll see when I get ready to tighten them up if I have to go to a smaller size or not. But yeah, take your headlights out and then make room, because you're going to want to tap some of your wires. I'm going to tell you right now, in the wiring diagram is the best thing to follow, because if these lights are, of course, for the charger. So I have my turn signal tapped over here. It says it in the wiring diagram. I'll look it up and tell you in a second when I see it, or put it on the notes in this video. But I need to get my DRL light as well, so I can put that to the Blue Ghost. So I'll show you once I have it done, so I don't confuse you on any wires. All right, I know this is crazy. I done cut up a jumble of wires already, disconnected stuff. So this looks crazy. I'll clean it up in a little bit. All right, so your fifth spot over here, this spot right here, 5 is the turn signal. It's gonna be the turn signal on your other light as well. And 4 is your DRL. You can tell in the Blue Ghost to cut your DRLs on from one signal wire, so you don't have to run another wire all the way from that side to this side if you're using the Blue Ghost. If you are not using a Blue Ghost, you could just jump the signal wire to 1. You could run a wire from 1 straight to the controller to tell both lights to cut on. So if it has a DRL for the left and a DRL for the right, which it shouldn't, I believe this is one of those. This is the Light and Trends one, which is, different company, but they generally have one wire, and you could just put it and it would cut on everything. I'm pretty sure that RGB Halo has the same type of thing for their connections. So you could just run that one wire and it would cut them on, and you would be connecting turn signals in spot 5. You do have to run a turn signal over. I have my turn signal ran right here from this light coming over from here. So both of mine are on this side, and then we'll connect in those to the Ghost controller. The DRL setting will let me turn it on and do whatever feature I want to when it's cutting on, as soon as I cut the car on. And then the turn signals, of course, you can turn them to the colors, the correct colors, or you can turn them to other colors, but you can make them do turn signals. So that's what we're in the process of doing, just making sure we got all our wires and everything set up. Do I need to add anything? I didn't have my DRL hooked up before on this one, so now I'm like, all right, let me hook my DRLs up, because here they go. This is going to require DRLs for that. All right, man, so much is happening. So I plugged that connector up, and that thing did not work. This is a 2023 Dodge Charger Scat Pack with the LED lights with the full turn signal, everything, everything's LED. It's a circuit board and all that. They said, and I called and talked to them, or at least I emailed and talked to them. They said I needed that thing, so I plugged it up, and those lights wouldn't work for nothing. I was so worried that something was going wrong, and then of course I was like, well, let's plug it up without it. So I think I left my keys in here. Man, as soon as I plugged it up without it, working perfectly fine. Like, so my turn signals will be through the Ghost controller, so they're not doing the turns because I don't have them hooked up currently. But I will hook those up in a little bit. Now, the other thing that I had a problem with were these holes right here. They, of course, are aftermarket lights, so they were close, but not really on point. The problem also with them was they were the exact same size that this screw is. So I literally had to cut the holes a little bit wider. You can see some of the shavings. I had to trim this hole right here to give it the room to move over a little bit for all of them, so that I could get it mounted in the correct spot. So I haven't done this one. So you see how small that hole is there? That's the one where it actually fits the little white lineup piece. As you can see, it's on the outside of this hole. the outside of this hole. So this is the hole that the screw actually goes through. You can see it is it's too small. So at first I tried like, all right, I'll just thread it through with the with my drill. I'll just thread it, and then that wasn't really working. So I went ahead and widened those holes up. So that's the only two things that I ran into so far that I didn't like. So other than that, got them. They are functioning as intended. I like to run my wires through the crash bar. I cannot stand seeing wires through somebody's front grill. So I try to wire everything, lights and everything, so that you can't see them. The only wire that you can kind of see when I open my hood would be this yellow wire, and that's because I connected at the end. And right now I've been contemplating, do I want to go ahead and replace it? I could run it a different way now that the bumper's off. Last time I did it, the bumper was on. I had already spliced it and forgot to run it, so it was there. But there's other ways to get around that. So what I did is I had some like trimming. You can do it with a metal clothes hanger. Run it through the bottom all the way to the other side. Grab your wires, pull them through. Then your wires will be in, out of the way. Both the drivers, I just kind of stuffed in here, and then I'm going to zip tie this up. All of this will be out of the way, so you won't be able to see anything through that bottom grill. And then the bumper, of course, right there, that part will be over the crash bar, so you won't be able to see any of that. So everything will be covered, nothing will be hanging down. So that's the way I like to do it. Some people, they run the wires back through the back of there. You can run them on the back side of the crash bar. You can even run them on the outside of the crash bar. I've done this a few times where I ran them through this slot all the way around. Only thing about that is I generally end up having to put zip ties in this area, because then they'll start poking out back here once you pull them tight. It's rounded, so you'll be sticking out a little bit, so I end up putting zip ties here. So I just ran it on the inside of the crash bar all the way through. I'm going to pull it through to that side, connect everything on that side that needs to be connected to wire up this light, and I'll zip tie those wires up so you can't see them. All right, guys. So we got the lights plugged up, at least for the Blue Ghost controller. Still got to actually put that one in. I need to make sure all the wiring is going in the right places for all my other stuff. I have underglow. I got grill lights, so you see 1,000 wires over here. We'll clean it up and I'll show you the finished product of what it looks like once everything's tucked in its place. Not a crazy jumble. But what we've done now is we've came to the connector. Like I said, if you're looking at the connector, we're gonna actually look at it. So if you're looking at this connector, you have 6 pins up top, but only 4 of those pins in the top are actually connected. It's spot 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, 5 is the turn signal, 4 is the DRL. So this is spot 5 here, and this is spot 4. In the wiring diagram, they're going to count it by wires. So you need to know that first spot gets skipped, and they give you the color combination. I can't remember it, so I'll try to insert a picture. But they're going to give it to you by color coordination and by the number of wires. It's going to be, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to give you 3 and 4. And technically this is 5 and 6. So if you're seeing one of my older videos and wonder why it's changed with these lights, that's the difference. That's still the same spot, still the 5th and 4th spot, but I'm counting it by actual holes in the front. They're counting it by wires at the that are actually connected in the back. As long as you get to the same result, that's all that matters. Same result, not same resort. But as long as you get to the same result, that's all that matters. So I just wanted to clarify that. So I've already connected. This is my DRL. This connected to slot 4. And that is my turn signal. It's connected to slot 5. These work. I have like a rainbow road and some other stuff, some sequential turn signals, the way I wired it up. All right. we're going to try to show you what it's doing. So if I start it, like when I start my car, it's going to do its startup sequence, has that little delay, and it comes back. I got it set at like 4 seconds. And then when I cut it off, it's going to rainbow road out. So if I want to start, when I start my car, that's what it's going to do. And then when I shut my car off, that's what it's going to do. All right. Just to make sure that, you know, I clarified everything for you in connecting this. Remember, I had you plug the regulator and your Blue Glows controller up so that you had power but disconnected the fuse. But I don't remember if I showed you this connection. You got this barrel connection that's coming from the Blue Glows that plugs into that barrel connection that goes to that regulator. So just in case you were wondering, making sure that you're plugging in the correct connections, that's where your power is coming from for there. And then you also had for your Demon Eyes, there was another controller that you ran power and ground to, and it connects right here. This connection with these, that runs here to your to this. So power and ground, and then that connection has a jumper wire that's going to connect it to your splitters. Your splitters connect to your lights. So I have a splitter here, and I showed you the splitters that I hid away on the other side. That's all you have to do is connect. You can't mess it up because they're different type of connections. So you just got to look at the connection that you're making there. But I've shown you all of the connection points, and then my splitters are in there. So just make sure you connect up to the correct wires and you'll be absolutely fine. I'm going to go ahead and get this light installed, and then I'm going to wire up the rest of all my stuff and put it back together. All right, man, I'm back at it. I'm still going. I got a lot. I'm sorry, I'm holding this camera with one hand and the microphone. Got a lot going on. So we've got the lights back installed. The grill lights are installed. That SRT is on a different controller, but everything else is on a Ghost controller. I could put that SRT on the Ghost controller. I just don't know which LEDs it has in it. So the thing about these lights is you don't want to mix and match different type of LEDs. That way, if you have addressable LEDs, they need to be the same type. You don't want to have addressable LEDs like RGBW and then addressable RGB, because then you'll fry them. So RGBW has a red, blue, green, and then a dedicated white chip. The RGB is red, blue, green, and then it uses all the colors to make white. So it won't do the same thing. So needless to say, that was a little bit more for the people that are here for this install. As you can see, the lights are working. If I go ahead and hit the unlock button, it does take over and then goes back to doing what it's doing. So anytime those turn signals actuate, they are going to do what they're doing. If nothing was on and I cut the car on, it would go to its startup sequence, and then it would stay like that. These are going to do whatever I tell it to do, as long as if I did the startup sequence or the shutdown sequence right now, I have it ordered to do something, so it's just going to continue doing what it's doing. But if I didn't, it would do its startup and its shutdown sequence. Now, for the people that are here for the lights and more, I've done the full car. Everything has a Ghost controller on it. So the underglow, the grill lights. It's a grill light underneath there. So I got one light underneath there, one light in there. Those are what actually connect to my underglow. My snorkel up there, I don't know if you can see that little hole lighting up. My snorkel has a grill light in it. And then we have the underglow all the way to the back of the car. We're trickle charging because I haven't drove my car in a while, so the battery died. But I just need to put it together now. Now that I got everything wired up, need to put it back together and put her on the ground. I got more lights, I just haven't cut them on. And then I got those strips. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna do the grill? I got a little idea to do this, or I can do the engine bay area. But I got some strips. The strips that I was gonna do with the engine bay, I thought those were the bigger ones, like that, but they're smaller, but they still work 12 volts. So I could kind of line them in here and then make those vents absolutely light up. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do first before I'll put everything else back together, and then that'll be my last thing that I'll figure it out. Man, this thing is bright. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with those strips still. But everything is successfully on its own controller now for the underglow, the grill lights, the headlights. They are all three on Ghost controllers, so I can now go into one app and control all of that. Still got to go into a different app to control the demon eyes, but I do have a remote control for those. So I don't even have to go into an app. If I want to cut them on, I can cut them on, change the colors with the controller, which I'll go grab in just a second. And the SRT is still on its own controller. I have to go into an app for it. Now, what kind of light show would I be without my favorite police setting? This has always been one of my favorites. I always put my police setting every time. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions about this install, please feel free to hit me up. I've been out here all day, not because the actual install for these lights take that long. I have a lot of extra lights, as you can see in this video, a lot of cleaning up of wires, different things down that line. So that's what I was doing and getting squared away for the most part. That's why it looks like I was out in the daytime and now I'm out at nighttime. But yeah, got any questions about these lights, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Like I said, you can always hit me in the comments on my videos here and I'll get back to you. I'm going to get back into YouTube, and so I've got so much more stuff to come for this car. It's going to be amazing. Stick around with me. For the people that have always been here, I appreciate you. And for my new people, thanks for subscribing. Till next time, I'm out.
Every time I'm in the street, I hear man down.